Hey, everybody. How are you doing? I hope you're having a great week. Welcome back. It is another Friday with Dannphan, our stream where we just kind of chill and talk about whatever is in the chat. Yeah, no video this week. I've got like a couple ideas for videos just kind of stowed in the box, just waiting to be finished. It's just one of those things where, the comic and trying to keep up with everything else, trying to plan ahead for projects next year. I mean, without spoiling anything, there is a pretty big project next year. Big collaborative kind of project, and that's gonna take time planning out and making sure everything's all together. But I'm excited for that when that comes around. In the meantime, I just gotta focus on finishing up the latest Reaper book, of course. Shout out to the people in the fan club, the Subscribe Star, who are reading the latest chapters. Those have been fun. This chapter that I'm working on right now for Reaper, the Beast and Men. Oh my goodness. It's such a simple chapter, right? What's happening in the story is very simple because this is like kind of the period in the book where it calms down a bit before it ramps up again for like the final 2 chapters. So you would think it'd be a nice chill chapter. You just relax and, you get to just relax and draw these chill scenes. But it's actually probably going to be the hardest chapter in the whole book because I was very ambitious about how I wanted to draw all of these nice chill scenes. Like, I'm talking big wide shots of like many characters all in the same panel at the same time, and backgrounds, lots of backgrounds, not the woods type of backgrounds. Those are easy. Nature is fairly easy to just put in the background, right? This is building background. This is like rooms. Those are a little bit more tricky. You actually have to turn your brain on to make sure those backgrounds work. So I've got a lot of that type of stuff that I gotta draw for this one chapter. And then after that we get into, well, it's a little bit more backgrounds, but after that, then we get to fight scenes, the ending fight scene, and the conclusion, and that's gonna be a joy to draw, of course. I'm trying my best to keep getting better and better at these fight scenes because they are kind of the most important part, right? If you got the fight scenes looking cool, then you're good to go, especially when you're doing an action series. Although mine is maybe more of a slow burn and then action sequence and then back to slow burn. I don't know. Would I compare it more like a Freerun type of series? I would say Freerun is slower than mine. But yeah, maybe it's more like kind of Freerun-esque. Thanks for the 20 code, Melted. I am so tired of hearing about vibe coding in my industry. One more time and I am going to vibe write a comic. Happy Friday. Vibe coding. I don't think I've ever heard of that term before, but that's pretty funny. Oh boy. Yeah, the sweatshirt that says pink. The brand is pink, but yeah, it's pretty much orange. I'm glad you think it's orange, because I mean, off camera, people will say it's debatable what color this is. I say it's orange. Other people say it is actually kind of a neon-y pink. Maybe it's just the way the light hits it Maybe it's like that weird optical illusion dress. Is it like black and blue, or is it white and gold? Who knows, right? I think it's orange. I think it's maybe like orange with a pinkish hue, depending on like how the light is hitting it. But yeah. Yeah, consistent background with different angles can be pretty challenging. Absolutely. My God. Especially when you have to like fill the space with furniture and stuff, and all of that furniture, all the things that you're putting into the background, it also has to match with the perspective. And it also has to look three-dimensional and all that stuff. I might laze it a little bit. I might be a little bit more lazy with it and skip some steps. But in the future, I would really like to draw good backgrounds, of course. What's a good example of really solid backgrounds I enjoy? The first thing that comes to mind is like the artist of Blue Exorcist. Have you guys ever seen well, manga Pete? Don't get me wrong, I've been keeping up with Blue Exorcist, and I've been absolutely in pain with the last arc, if I can call it that. It's been going on fucking forever. What? Man. Don't ever use Brave Search, guys. Brave Search is the worst. It's fucking garbage. Okay. Let me see if I can find any. Well, first, let me share my screen so you guys know what I'm looking at in the first place. Alright, here we go. Where's a good background? A lot of these don't have backgrounds. Do I have to type background into the... This is a pretty nice background. That's tricky, though. That's got a lot of perspective work in that. That's very tricky. Oh, fucking there we go. That's so fucking nice. That's so fucking nice. I love the design of the school in Blue Exorcist. I love how fucking chaotic and crazy it looks. So good, man. The art in Blue Exorcist is genuinely just fucking great. Such a tragedy that the writing has gone downhill. But the art, bro, the art never got bad. So there's that. We'll always have the art, man. And this is also like really, really intense perspective on this one. It's not bad, but maybe it's more intense than I would have gone. I guess they just wanted to fit everything in there. That's pretty cool. Overlooking the school. Yeah, I like that. I think the biggest mistake Blue Exorcist ever made was going back on the whole whether or not God is real thing. They chickened out. It reminds me of Castlevania, actually, when they were like, oh, the Castlevania, the anime, or the Netflix show, sorry. When they're like, oh, the real reason why vampires fear the cross is because they have bad vision. It's a shape, and they get confused. It's like, shut the fuck up. That's way stupider than God existing. But yeah, they go back on that in Blue Exorcist too. Eventually, they started off really strong with like exorcism being real and demons being real and all that. And then after that, they tried to apply like science to it. And it's like, shut up. There's no... Man, there's some... I can't really find the backgrounds that I'm really looking for, but there's some background that I distinctly remember where it's like a messy desk. Because they're not showing me any interior. Most of these are just outside of this. This is pretty fucking cool too, I'll give it that. But like, there's this one panel where it's like someone's office. and it's a very messy desk, and it looks so nice. Just something about the messiness and the chaos that makes it look so nice. Kind of similar to the school itself, but, you know, it's not a school. It's a messy desk. Anyway, sorry, I can't find the actual panel that I was looking for, but you kind of get the idea. The art is good. It's good. I fucking would love to be able to draw like that. Jeez. But I think I have to, the priority right now is just improving the characters that I draw. And then we save room for backgrounds later. Because you can kind of get by as a comic artist or as a manga artist just knowing the bare minimum of drawing backgrounds. Just so long as you can tell where your characters are in position to one another, the reader shouldn't get confused. You can even, like, omit a lot of background details and still get the point across. But eventually, if you want to get your pages to have so much more impact, it's such a good thing to learn backgrounds. So I would eventually like to do that. Very difficult to do. Oh my gosh, thanks for the donation, Matthew. Months before my birthday, I spotted a Contra board game, hinted to my wife and waited. Sure, I'd get it. I didn't. That night, we stopped by a random Barnes & Noble, and there it was. One copy in clearance for $20. Miracle or coincidence? Ever have that happen? Oh, yeah. There's a lot of times like that where you'll just be thinking about something and then it'll pop up in real life. I know it's such a phenomenon that people on the internet, especially TikTokers, right? Those kind of scammy TikToker accounts will be like, oh, you're calling things in the universe over to you because you're manifesting it or something. But in reality, it's just that it's, I mean, first of all, it's not like you're manifesting anything that's supernatural. It's very possible to see a Contra board game, but you know how it is. When it happens to you in the moment, it's that more striking, as opposed to if you weren't thinking about it and then just stumbled across it and are like, oh yeah, look at this thing. But you haven't made it to chat in a while? Well, welcome back. Netflix sucks balls. I would say so. Yeah, their prayers work. That's the weird thing about it. Like, I don't understand. So, another weird thing is the Blue Exorcist manga. It goes in a direction where it's like, it's not just Christian religions that have this, like, effect or have magical powers. Like, they insert all of these other random religions, and it's just like, I don't know why any of it works. They try to explain it, but it's like, oh, well, it's not really holy water. It's like this science stuff. Shut up. It is holy water. Shut up. Stop trying to think that you're deeper or smarter because it's like, oh, it's actually science. That's like the biggest mistake Blue Exorcist has made. But then again, this final arc has been dragging. It's been dragging. I was a really big fan of it when it first started, which is why it's all the more painful. Now I'm just waiting for it to end. It's just on life support, and you're like, come on. Just come on. Rest in peace already. Let's get to it. If you're gonna end, just end now. I thought it was gonna end like last year at one point. It felt like it was about to end, and then they did a fake out. Rin was about to defeat Satan, and then they did a fake out, and it just kept going. Why not? Why? Just finish it. Just, I don't know. Maybe the publisher is like forcing the right, literally gun to the head for the mangaka. It's like, keep writing, Blue Exorcist. What a strange series this has turned out to be. Especially because now it's not even aimed at the same age group it was aimed at when it first started. When it first started, it was like aimed at the normal like shonen teens. Now they bumped up the age rating. They put it on the what was it? It's like they have a separate type of. It's Jump Plus. Is that it? It's where they put like Chainsaw Man and stuff like that. That's where they put Blue Exorcist now. They bumped up the age rating, and I don't really get why. It's not. They're not really doing any. I mean, the most that they've had is like showing you tits, but I don't really care about those. Maybe that helped boost the ratings in the latest chapters, but I can't for the life of me figure out why they decided to bump up the age rating. It was fine. It worked as it was. But yeah. Let's see. Aren't there different artists for background and mechanical stuff and characters? It depends. It really depends on the work. For most manga, I think they do try to get a different artist for the background just because it helps speed things up a lot if you have an artist that specializes in backgrounds. It's part of the reason why I say that specialization is not a bad thing. Some people will like trash me because they're like, oh my god, you have to try all these new things in order to figure out, like, you find your shadow self in art or something. I don't know. But specializing in one thing is how you get really good at that one thing. And manga understands this, which is why they will get people who are specialists to work on specific parts of a manga to make it like just high standard of art. And I think that's really cool. But of course, whenever a manga first starts out, basically 9 times out of 10, it's just one person doing all the art. And I do think most of Blue Exorcist, most of the parts that I like artistically, are coming from the skills of the main artist, the number one. I could be wrong. I don't know, but I think most of it is on her. But yeah, it does depend on what manga, what comic you're working with. You know, sometimes people also use 3D models for the backgrounds. They don't even have like a separate artist or photos. Have you ever seen photos that are just put into the backgrounds for a lot of these manga? Sometimes it works. I'm not saying it's always bad. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it's a nice little stylistic choice. I actually kind of liked the photos in some parts of Summertime Rendering. It added a little bit of uncanniness to it. And that was a spooky manga, so it worked. By the way, you know, Halloween time. If you're looking to read a spooky manga, and then you could watch the anime too, I guess. Summertime Rendering. That's a recommend. I like that one. But yeah, it's the blue thing behind you, a Muppet. Oh, you mean this? That's Cthulhu. What? I haven't showed you guys Cthulhu before? It's Cthulhu. See? It's a gift. It was a gift. And I love it. So I just play it proudly in the background. Handmade Cthulhu. Ugh. No, it can't work like a puppet, though. I can't actually move the mouth. I can shake it. That kind of simulates like it's talking. But yeah. Is Blue Exorcist in danger of going full Reddit atheist? Maybe. I don't know for sure. It hasn't ended yet. But it's possible. It's very possible. Let's see. Actually, the writers probably. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. It's still got a while until it ends, because I thought it was going to end like a year ago and it didn't. They did a fake out on me. So, thanks for the $2, Patrick. You don't believe in power, your mind or energy. Believe in power of your mind. Oh, yes, power of your mind. Gotta summon things to you. No, I don't really believe that. I don't believe the, whatever the TikTokers say. I don't know. I think that's really easy to just be like, share this video and you can call money to you. And then you just get a bunch of shares. I remember back in the Facebook days and the MySpace days, people would post that stuff all the time just because they wanted to get shares and get likes, and that's about it. Yeah, I think a sciencey flesh out of God stuff can work to enhance rather than explain away, reduce God and holy magic power out of it. That's fair. That's fair. If you want to give an explanation for God and for like holy power and stuff like that, that's fine. But instead they're like, God isn't real, idiot. It was science the whole time. You just didn't understand how it worked. When you're calling upon the power of God, that's actually you calling upon the power of science. Duh. It's just so strange because Blue Exorcist really opened up with a hard line, like Catholicism is real type of opening. And then it just got more and more muddied until eventually they were just like, it was science the whole time. And I'm not really here for it, you know? Oh, nice. A super sticker. Very cool, man. I'm looking forward to the new anime, Dannphan Realm. Oh, have I heard of this before? Maybe I have. Sometimes I have a screenshot of a manga to remind myself to read it, but my screenshot folder on my computer, tragically, is just filled to the brim with so much random stuff, and I hardly ever go through it. But I might have seen that before and just never read it because I didn't go through my screenshot folder. Maybe. An alternative anime or manga is needed. How very r/atheist of you. Demon Realm. Yeah, there you go. Hang on. Now you got me curious. Now I have to go through my screenshot folder. Man, it would have been an old screenshot if I had it. I do! Daemons of the Shadow Realm. That's what it's called. It's in my screenshot folder. I screenshotted it. I never read it. I knew it because you can tell just by looking at it that it has the art it has that Full Metal Alchemist art. Daemons of the Shadow Realm. It also had Shadow Realm in the title, so I was like, oh, fuck yeah. The Shadow Realm is back? Yu-Gi-Oh, guys? Fuck yeah, let's go. Hang on. Let me pull it up for you guys to see. There it is. Daemons of the Shadow Realm. The Shadow Realm is back. I don't know, that's probably an Englishified title. But I still dig it, right? It's a cowardly move to explain away God in any story that involves angels and demons. Like, how can you have one without the other? Look, excellent point. It's just people who are conscious enough to admit that they like the concepts of angels and demons. They're able to admit that, but they feel like, it's kind of corny if I also include God, though, because that's too religious for them. They're able to like vibe with elements of a religion without like, while simultaneously still wanting to be atheist. Basically, that's what it is. They're like, well, I really like churches. Oh, but I really want to be atheist, though, so I guess I have to hollow out this church and turn it into a nightclub or something in my whatever story. It's a real Vampires of the Masquerade reference right there. Like, you don't have to have the God in your story. Just make one up if you don't want to involve any real religion. But that's the thing. A lot of atheists are anti all religion. Like, it doesn't matter. It's not any specific religion that they hate. A lot of them are just like, all religion bad. Unless they're like forced by gunpoint to say one religion good. But yeah, I agree with you. I think in a lot of stories, especially fantasy stories, it's usually much easier to just have a fake religion. Especially fantasy stories, because how can you really involve real Christianity when you have an entirely different world map? It's like, well, how do you fit Jesus in there, you know? Where's Israel in Mordor? It doesn't really click together as well. So it's just easier to have like kind of a fake religion that's based on a real one. And plenty of writers can do that for whatever reason they want. But then you have people who are just like diehard atheists who are like, no religion is real. I cannot, even in fantasy, I cannot concede that a religion could possibly be real. But you know. Thanks for the donation. Random question, have you ever played Fortnite? I have never played Fortnite. Not in my whole life. I've never really played Minecraft either. I have played Terraria, which is kind of weird, because that's like kind of a knockoff Minecraft. But yeah, there you go. Now you know all the Dannphan lore. Yeah, versus order. Sorry. I don't know. It's just like the first thing that came to my mind. Japan's relationship with Christianity is interesting. The people who actually practice the religion, there are less than 1%. Japanese media uses it for merely aesthetics. Well, Japan at one point was more Christian, which is another interesting thing. Like, they have a deeper past about that. And about how, what was it, the Maoists, they tried to, like, remove religion completely from Japan. It was, yeah, there's, like, interesting, deeper history on that, but have you ever heard of a movie called Haunted World of El Super Beasto? It was an animated movie directed by Rob Zombie. No, I've never heard of it. I'm not really big on the Rob Zombie area of the internet, honestly. And Terraria turned into its own thing. I guess so. Not that it's nearly as popular as Minecraft, I guess, but it's kind of its own thing. Played it with Adam at one point. And, you know, it was fun at first, but after a while, it was just such a absolute grind. I'm sure your imagination can run wild with that. Well, thanks for the 5, Captain Hyrule. Adi Shankar emails you saying he's interested in adapting Reaper into an animated series. What's your response? Is this a real person, or are you just making up a funny name?
I think it's a DMC person.
This a DMC person?
The Netflix show.
Ah, fuck no. Ah, fuck no. Get out of here. Get off my lawn. You're trespassing. Get out. Oh my god. No, thank you. The only reason someone with like that would be interested in something that I wrote is if they wanted to ruin it. Surprised you forgot the dude's name. Well, I don't know. He's a nobody. Like, the only thing I've ever known this guy for is ruining Devil May Cry. I guess he worked on Castlevania too, right? Another big, terrible, like, yeah. Oh, did he work on the Power Rangers reboot? I'm just looking at all the stuff that they're listing under him. Fuck, dude. I didn't watch that, to be fair. Power Rangers short film. Is that what it was? Okay. Oh man, they put the blue filter on it and everything. It's like the number one mistake so many filmmakers are making is that they just blast the blue filter on everything. Let's make Power Rangers, man, but let's make it like gray and blue. It's always cloudy. That's what Power Rangers is all about, man. Come on. It's like what they do with almost all fantasy stuff nowadays. They just fucking, it's always cloudy. Just way long ago in medieval times, it was cloudy all day, every day. It's only recently that the sun was discovered. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. What if you had full creative control? If I had full creative control, I would kick him off the project. I'd be like, get out of here. How much money? Ugh. I'd rather just figure out how to sell it on my own than sell my soul to the devil. Boy. Take the money and run, yeah. Parts of the first Castlevania show and Castlevania Nocturne. Gotcha. You did bootleg stuff. Interesting. Did a Punisher one, which was decent. I imagine he likes Punisher. Are we past the orange filter phase? Yeah, it's all blue filter now. We're past the orange filter. That's right. Guys, you need more colors in your movies and your shows. You need to actually experiment with lighting so that every scene looks a little different, so that characters can pop out more, so that you can actually get the mood right. You can't just blast blue filter everywhere. And not everything should be gray. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, that's why we call it the Dark Ages. Because everything had a blue... Before the sun, everything had blue filter on it. Oh, man. Yeah, the actual Power Rangers reboot had blue filter. That's right. They tried to make it edgy. I didn't watch it. I was like, fuck no. I don't think so. But, yeah. That's another mistake that a lot of Hollywood movies are making, is that they think that everything needs to be edgy to be good. This is coming from someone, of course, that's writing a fairly edgy dark fantasy series, but shut up. I know how to do the dark stuff and then also the happy stuff. And then you take both of those things, the dark stuff, happy stuff, you know? You get what I'm saying? They need to come together to make each thing better. You contrast them together and then you make them more impactful. They work better together than apart. If everything is edgy, then nothing has impact. Nothing matters. You can't get attached. You're just watching it because you're depressed at that point. You need both. That's my opinion. It's my opinion. I know, I'm a little bit animated on today's live stream. Do you remember the late 2000s where color was banned in video games? Oh man, I remember the funniest part about like when they had video games based off of movies, the color was always so much more bland because they were trying to make it look more photorealistic, and they just thought the way to do that was to desaturate everything. It's especially funny because you look at like Avatar: The Last Airbender, right? And the video games based off of the cartoon are like super duper colorful. And then they had that one like Wii game that was based off of the Last Airbender movie. Terrible, don't watch it. And then it's just like the most desaturated, depressing looking game on the planet. It doesn't fit the tone at all. Very funny. Love it. I love it all. The infamous piss filter. The gray and brown era of gaming. Yep. Those were the days, huh? What video games would look like if they were allowed to be good. Sometimes I feel like that era is still going on. Yeah. Yes. We gotta definitely work to bring more color back into our art for sure. In general, we just need to work harder to make our art better and have like these, rather than these mechanical, like super corporate type of art that we keep on getting that's pumped out of a machine. We need like the personal details. We need those little simple touches in there to really make something unique and beautiful and to inspire us and not make us feel like shit, you know? That's what I think. There's my take on art. I know some people are really doom-pilled about art in general, you know? Some people are like, it'll never get good again. Art isn't good anymore. Nobody knows how to do good art, and nobody will ever know how to do good art ever again. It's too late. We're so cooked. But the only thing that you need to make good art is somebody who's figured it out and who is able to teach, I guess. And in the age of the internet, it is more easy to teach and be taught than ever before. You can literally be mentored by a manga artist that you like. I have seen manga artists straight from Japan who offer mentorships. It's possible, and of course, you know, that you have those competitions. And one of the prizes that they usually give out for a lot of these manga competitions is that you get mentored by an actual manga artist who will help take your art to the next level. And that's pretty cool. Ideally, I think that they're trying to get you to, I guess, be an employee for them or be like one of their assistants, I think. I've never been really part of the program myself. But, you know, don't go for, if you're an artist out there, right? I just assume that a lot of people are looking to get into making comics because of the topic of this channel usually revolves around comics and indie stuff. I say try your best when you're getting into the creative field to not always settle for what is the easiest to do. I'm not saying that you need to shoot for the stars, but just don't lower the bar too low for yourself. Like you should be challenging yourself every step of the way. You should be looking up and not looking down. It's not a race to the bottom. You're not trying to get the cheapest thing or the easiest thing. You're trying to raise the standards. And in order to do that, you're going to have to challenge yourself and actually try to go for something a little harder. Although that concept kind of terrifies certain people, and I get it. It's hard to do hard things. It's a thing. Alrighty. Speaking of bad art, have you seen the new Marvel art style? Well, Marvel has a bunch of different artists on their comics. Some of them are not bad, but some of them are fucking awful. Trust me, I read Avengers Academy. I know how bad it can get. I think Avengers Academy is a great example of that for sure. Oh, what about Steven Universe art style? Yeah, Steven Universe was fine until everybody started copying it, honestly. When Steven Universe first started, I didn't really have a problem with the style. Just to be brutally honest, I didn't actually have a problem with it. It's the fact that everyone took that style and started simplifying it, and they just made it so simplified that they would create these character designs that just didn't work anymore. They weren't even that much of a step up from an actual child's drawing. And then those bastards, they take something that's inspired by anime and then they simplify it to look more like Cal Arts. And it's like, no, get away from anime. Don't take our waifus and then put a bean mouth on them. If you're gonna draw anime, draw anime. You don't get to simplify it into some Steven Universe atrocity. God damn. That's the most infuriating thing. You have to pick a lane, right? Are you gonna go Cartoon Network style? Are you gonna go something more Eastern? And so many people just don't want to pick a lane. They want the best of both worlds. They want to have their cake and eat it too. I get it. But if you mix up these different elements together, more often than not, you're going to get something that looks uncanny. You're going to get something that looks like two elements smashed together that don't belong together at all. It's like mixing up colors that are just not opposite to each other on the color wheel. You get fucking bright orange and sickly yellow green, and you mash those colors together, and it's like, gross. No, don't do that. But yeah, there's my 2 cents on that matter. Oh, man. The B-mouth style doesn't work with everything, only specific shows. Yeah, absolutely. Always rubbed me the wrong way. I mean, I get it, because when it blew up, it was everywhere. We could not get away with it, or get away from it. And in general, a lot of kids shows, cartoons, whatever, were just heading in that direction for a while, where it was just simplifying, and that's what they did with everything. Every new show that came out for the longest time focused on these really simplified, standardized types of designs. They wouldn't try anything new. They're all the B-mouth, the Cal Arts, what was easiest for them to draw. which is, like I said, not that much of a step up from an actual child's drawing. Because, a child is going to go with something that's easy for them to draw. And I get it. Animation's tough. If it's a really simple design, I guess the animation goes quicker. Maybe that was the thought process behind it. Even with anime is simplifying a lot of their newer designs because they want the process to go quicker. Like we saw that with the Kaiju number 8 anime. They took these really unique kind of manga designs and they rounded them out and they made them look much simpler and a little bit derpy. I gotta say. But the reason why they did that is because they want it to just be standardized and easy. And they just want to be able to get through it quickly. They don't want to change the face too much. So they got a little bit of simplification so that they could easily trace over the 3D models to fit the new character designs. That's what they wanted. I get it. Animation is hard. But still. Oh, what is Adam doing off screen? Well, he was here a second ago, but he's downstairs now. He was just popping in the room for a brief second. Maybe we should bring him on at some point. We can all have these fun conversations together, huh? Talk about all these different art styles. Which ones are good, which ones are bad, right? Yeah, honestly, Powerhouse, right? We got Powerhouse Animation. I don't hate Powerhouse Animation. I just hate the Netflix writers. But I think Powerhouse stuff actually looks good. I don't think it's anime. I wouldn't call it anime. But I think it's a good direction for Western cartoons to go to compete with anime. Artistically, it is it's like taking the realism elements of anime and then it's mixing them with some more traditional American styles, such as the more semi-realistic styles of 80s cartoons. And I like that. I think it fits. Powerhouse stuff looks good. I don't like the writing. I don't like the shows. But objectively, I think it is solid. If Netflix or whatever company wanted to compete with anime, yes, that would be like the style to go for, I think. You don't have to just copy paste from anime to make something that works. A lot of people will. A lot of people will fail at it, and then a lot of people will mix these super simplified CalArts styles with the anime styles and think that it works, and it doesn't. It doesn't work. But if only there was a Powerhouse show that I actually enjoyed. If only. Because, especially when Castlevania first came out, people liked it overall, but they mostly just liked the animated fight scenes because they were well done. And then people caught on to the fact that the writing was not very good. And then, people turned on it eventually. But if you just watch Castlevania AMVs, those are the best. That's the best that you're going to get from that show, is just put some metal on, watch Castlevania characters fight each other. There you go. Brilliant. I don't need to see anything else, quite frankly. Yeah, if you just start calling your book a New York Times bestseller, is anyone actually going to correct you? Well, maybe New York Times would correct me, but maybe not. I gotta try it. Just go. That should be a new meme. Is just everyone calls themselves a New York Times best-selling author. Because, you know about the whole controversy behind that, right? it's a paid title. It doesn't actually mean that you're a bestseller. It's just you just pay New York Times, and they'll give you like a certification, or they'll just say that you're a bestseller. And apparently multiple people got like called out for doing this. So I wouldn't be surprised if like 90% of the people who've done DCYAs, who are best-selling authors, were actually just paying for the title and not actually selling a lot. I don't know for sure. I know that YA books in general, no matter how awful the quality is, will just sell a lot, even if it's just to libraries. Even if it's not to actual people, they'll sell to the library. And then fucking those books will just be sitting there for some poor innocent kid to pick up and get blasted with. But yeah, the title means nothing to me. And maybe because it means nothing, everyone can just use it. Because it doesn't mean anything. Right? Pixar is doing something similar, but only with a few films so far. Similar? You mean like an anime style with like CalArtsy mouths? I don't know. I mean, I remember Turning Red kind of had that going on. I did not like the art style in Turning Red, though. That was kind of awful. Once again, it's like mixing those two elements that just don't fit. What else did they have? Elio, I think, is also that same style. Again, it's just the same exact art style, with bean mouths over slightly more anime-ish looking characters. Terrible. Yeah, New York Times has a fake bestseller list. Absolutely. Yeah, Morning Glory Milking Farm is also a bestseller book. Oh, fuck. I fucking bet. That's more of an Amazon bestseller thing. I would be willing to believe that it was a bestseller on Amazon, because Amazon promotes smut above anything else. I guess because they have so many like horny middle-aged women that use Amazon all the time, they have like a shopping addiction or something. So they're just pushing all the crazy smut to them. If you guys have any fun comics that you think fit under that category, it doesn't have to be Marvel or DC, but if there's something like that you'd like me to partake in for a video where I rip it apart or just read it and give you my live reaction, edited of course, just let me know in the reaction request section of my Discord. Yeah, Discord, guys. We have a Discord. It's a Dannphan Discord. Woo! It should be in the description. If it's not, let me know, because I should have put it there a long time ago. Yeah, there's a reaction request section. You can put in a comic request that you'd like me to read on the channel, or a video request if there's like a trailer I should be reacting to. You know, whatever you think would be good for channel content, just let me know. So I think that would be pretty neat. Yeah, the bean mouth character designs in 3D CG look. Yeah, absolutely. It does look a little bit uncanny. Though weirdly enough, that made Elio stick out better than something like Disney's Strange World, as well as a more interesting sci-fi setting. I've never seen either, but I did hear that Strange World did not do well. Yeah, there is an issue with standardizing something too much. And because you get this issue with, yes, everything is much easier to make because the character designs are like just swapping out eyes and mouth and hairstyle. and just putting them over already pre-made models, right? It's like those shitty Steam games where you're just dragging and dropping clothes onto a character, or like different hairstyles, like those dress-up games. You're all men, you don't know what I'm talking about. But, it's like that, but with character designs in 3D for Disney or for Pixar or for whatever. When you make it more standard, it's much easier to make the character designs, make the characters. But it also lacks that uniqueness. It lacks style. And that's a big problem. Things already have trouble standing out above the sea of all this media. We have so much new comics and shows and movies that are constantly just being pumped out, product after product after product, busting in your face. And if they all look the same, nothing's going to stand out. Nothing's going to really speak to you, That's an issue. That is. It's an issue with indie comics also. Even with indie comics, I noticed that it has this problem. Many of them have this problem of standing out, being its own thing, having its own style, its own unique, different kind of wacky story. So it's something that we're going to need to course correct going forward. I think we can do it. I do think that we can do it. I have faith going forward. It's going to be hard, though. And sometimes you just have to choose the path that's a little bit harder than always choosing the easy thing. Exactly. Mass-produced product cheapening. Absolutely. Standardizing makes it generic. That's right. That's right. And I imagine for the big companies, it'll get worse because they're looking to save even more money. For indie, I think it'll get better because they need to make even more money. There's a little bit more pressure put on somebody who's independent, who needs that success. There's more pressure for them to do well and to stand out more. So it's just up to them to step up. But we're going to end it here for the live stream. I had fun talking with you guys. We got to talk about a bunch of cool things. I like it also, just talking about like art styles and comic stuff and all the good stuff. Okay. I'll have a new video out next week for sure. It might be a simple one. It might not be a big banger, right? But I'll have at least one video out next week. Pretty promise, right? And for those of you artists out there who are looking to get into indie comics, Burning Star Comics, the submissions are open for this year. I try to open them every year so that people who are looking to have someone to help them, to be a host, I guess, to sell their comics on, help them get their work out there, to, I guess, live streams like these. You get a little bit extra promotion that way. And I handle sales and stuff. So if you're looking to submit, check out burningstarcomics.net. We've already got a bunch of fun comics on there. Feel free to check it out. Let me see. It's a Halloween season. We got Sonic City Witch. That's pretty Halloween-y. I mean, even with the witches, I kind of went with the more, Halloween-y vibe. So I think that fits. Searchers is a little bit more like, I guess, spooky. We got some spooky mystery in there. Reaper's kind of spooky. We got undead zombies, right? Zombos. So yeah, check out Burning Star, guys, if you want to submit or if you just want to look for something new to enjoy. I think that's the place to go. Thank you guys for joining me on another fun Friday with Dannphan. It's been good. I'll see you next week. new video, right? Be excited. And until then, have a good night, everybody. Bye. Bye.